Live. Hello, guys.
Are we live again?
Hi, guys.
Hello. Nice to see you again.
Yeah.
Nice to see you guys.
Long time no see.
Again.
Oh yeah, it's been a long time now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Too long.
Indeed. But we have an exciting topic today that I guess most adventure riders come into contact with in some way. And that is route planning. Or some people don't plan their own routes at all because they don't know how to do it, but feel the technical challenge, or they download GPX files, ready routes. I get a lot of, as on my Nomad Sweden channel, I get a lot of questions. Do you have any GPX files that you can share with me?
One of the most common questions out there. It's a hot topic in different forums or groups and so on, and in my private PMs as well. Could you share your files and routes?
Oh yeah, that is like cotton candy for older people. It's just like the GPX files, and especially when it's a little bit under the radar or roads that it's not that familiar. It's just crazy how many people want to get their hands on that.
Yeah,
because it's convenient, and I guess that's why Trans-Euro Trail, Adventure Country Tracks, I have to always say it in German because they do that in the videos. And we have the Trans-Sweden Trail and things like that.
And so on.
And the BDRs, yeah. So
and we all have used them as well. It's very convenient to just either look what they have tracked or scouted, or just go ahead.
Yeah,
absolutely. But there's, although it could be good because there's some. I mean, people have worked on the tracks and so on, but one big problem, at least here in Sweden, is that they get very crowded, and the people who live along the routes and they care for the gravel roads and things like that, they get annoyed. So then the optimal thing would be if we could create our own tracks, a new track every time to spread the load on the road network, so to speak.
Yeah, I think that's perfect to spread out the riders and as well the adventures.
Yeah, and to do that in Sweden, it's a bit tricky. When I lay down plan the tracks and routes, I want as much gravel as possible, of course. But then you have this, as I made a video about it, but you have these gates and you have different kinds of gravel roads, and it's not always easy to connect two dots, and you start routing, and that's a dead end, and you have to find different ways around areas. So
pretty annoying if you have to do some kilometers a certain day, but it's an adventure as well to have these detours and look where a sidetrack ends.
Yeah.
But hey guys, before we get dry here,
or should we wait with that a little minute?
Okay, we could wait.
Should we introduce the guests before we
could do that?
I just saw you sneaked up on that.
Absolutely, because this episode is not about for us to talk about how we plan our trips and prepare our routes when we go, because there's a really exciting project that I came in contact with, and I thought it would be a perfect occasion to interview them on our live show here and see what it is. And it's a news service, online route planning tool, Stegra. And we have them on this show.
And it's really cool to see that we put up a
so
couple of links in the social medias, and people were just all over it, and was really excited to see or hear what it's all about.
Yeah. So we're going to meet the team behind Stegra, this new route planning tool, and we'll let them tell us all about what it is. And so should we connect Gothenburg to the
I'll bring them
to
in.
the stream? Let's do that.
Hello, guys.
All right.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Gothenburg. And the Stegra team.
It's almost like Eurovision Song Contest. But, hello, Göteborg.
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
All right.
Thank you very much.
I think before we do anything else,
Raise the glass or beer.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers,
and welcome.
everyone.
Cheers, Stegra,
Yes.
Thomas, Matthias. Cheers.
That was a good one.
Yeah, it was. And I almost heard from the viewers also some distant oaths there. So, hello guys. You are the Stegra team. And but let's hear a little introduction. If you could go around the team and introduce yourself a little bit.
Yeah, of course. I can start. My name is, hello everyone. My name is Niklas. I'm part of the Stegra team. I drive a Tenere 700. In the Stegra team, my main tasks is product development, testing, making sure that we have the user perspective together with the team, of course. And from about a week ago, I'm also the social media manager. So when you talk to our Instagram pages or Facebook pages, it's me you're talking to.
That's important.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, so my name is Jimmy. I'm a software engineer or developer and have been working a lot with the route engine that we're about to show you guys. And I ride a Tenere 700 as well. And have been doing that for a year or so. So I'm quite new into this, but I love it.
Yeah, thank you. So my name is Alexander Jönk. I've been riding motorcycles for 5 years quite now. And for the past 2 years, I've been driving adventure bike. Actually, the 890 Adventure R. Yeah, so...
that's a good one.
Yeah, I love it. So...
It's okay.
It's been more in the workshop.
This wall, so maybe we can bring that in for some balance.
So and I'm working with the product with test and product, and also I'm trying to be as good as Niklas with the social media thing, but not quite.
We're learning, both of us.
Yeah. So
we will do our YouTube videos in the future.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, hopefully. Hello, I'm Josip, software engineer as well, working on the development together with Jimmy. I also drive a Tenere, but it's an older one. Still works fine, so I might change in the future, but not now.
Yeah, don't change what works.
Exactly.
That's why I changed from KTM to Tenere.
Well, that was interesting.
Okay.
So we heard a little bit of you're pretty new to ADV. So how did you get into the ADV scene?
I think I started it.
Yeah,
am I right?
Yeah.
I have always wanted to ride. I drove motocross when I was a little, between the ages of 5 to 9, something like that. And then for about 10 years ago, I wanted to start riding enduro, but I didn't have the life set up for enduro life. But for about 3 years ago, I started looking again, and it was still pretty unpractical in my life situation. And I fell in love with the Triumph Scrambler 1200 XE, beautiful bike.
Mm-hmm.
But it was quite expensive for a first adventure bike, a little too beautiful to scratch maybe. So I bought the Tenere 700, And me and Alex was out test riding Triumph, both the Scrambler and the Tiger.
Yeah.
And then we went to a local dealership and tried. I tried the T7. He tried the 890, and here we are.
Yeah.
And I remember the time when Niklas called me and he told me, like, come over, we're just going to take a test drive, because we were building bumpers back then, and I was just like, I can test, but I will not switch over.
You were going to buy a Harley Davidson.
Yeah. So I was like, no, I'm going to buy my Harley Davidson. But I can test. So I went over and I tested the 1200 Scrambler XE, and I was hooked.
Yeah. It was about 200 meters of gravel, and we got to have gravel bikes.
So I went home and there's my bomber, and this one.
Yeah, and I actually I was traveling with you guys to go and get these bikes, and that's where I joined. So I didn't have a bike's license. I've always been into motorcycles since I was a kid. My father rode a motorcycle, and I was always, dreaming about, having my driver's license and so on. But I started programming and so on when I was a teenager, and then I started my career, and I met my wife, and we started a family, and life happened basically. So, and I actually watched Charlie Borman and Evan McGregor and so on back when they were sending the first season.
Nomad Sweden.
Nomad Sweden, obviously. Camp, all that stuff. But now I'm back in 2006, so quite a few years before I actually got my license. But I was hooked when Niklas, and we didn't mention, we're all childhood friends.
Yeah.
So we're doing this together. And when Niklas arrived with his T7 outside of my apartment, and I got to sit on it, I had to go up to Camilla, my wife, and just tell her I need to invest some money into myself. So yeah, that's how I got hooked.
Yeah. How nice of you to ask, at least.
Yeah, just go on.
Yeah, but this is of course the beginning and the first steps to where we are today. But so you started adventure riding, perhaps on ready-made routes, perhaps TST or something, and somewhere along the line you found the problem. How did that happen? So how did you find your roads, and how did you get to the point where you thought that let's do something on our own?
Yeah, I remember when we started to drive adventure bikes, and I basically had two screens up. One screen with what we call slitlager. It's where you can see if there is a paved or unpaved roads, and one screen where I planned the route. So that was a big problem and challenge for us and that's what we're trying to solve here. And
even before that, when we started to ride, when we had our adventure, I had the T7, you had 890. Okay, how do we find the gravel roads? We just went out to find gravel roads, and we often came about a barrier, a boom, or something like that. And after a few weekends, we're not driving anything. We're just meeting up, obstacles along the way. And then we found some different services to use in combination and look. And then, of course, to find GPX files also.
Then we found Tur Norden, or back then it was called TST. But I think that's when I came in, right? So I bought my T7 in January last year.
Yeah.
And we were planning our May trip, so our first real adventure riding trip. After watching you guys, everything that you guys do, we wanted to plan our own routes. And with the experience these two guys had, and I was so surprised. I was like, anyone introduced a ADV-focused route planning tool, and we couldn't find any. So that's when I started playing around with some concepts on my spare time, just trying to figure out if we can do something like this. So that was back in April last year. So when I started writing the first lines of code, so to speak, to introduce what we will soon show you. And
I recognize that because the other route planning apps, they must have known where the gravel was because they have the avoid gravel checkbox.
There's a little bit of echo on. I think you guys, Stegra, do you have audio going into the microphone from our source?
Yeah, that might be an issue. Let's see if we can change the...
Yeah. A little bit technical problem is kind of like the thing we're going for. It's kind of the theme of the evening every single time. So we're trying to perfect it every step. But a little side note to that you guys were talking about is like there's so many route planners out there. There's so many people trying to do it. You have the Kalimoto, you have the Scenic app, you have My Route app, you have Basecamp from Garmin. You have so many incredible good tools, but it always seems to be lacking something. You can kind of adapt to it and use some of them and work with 2 or 3 apps together to get the best possible experience for what you like to work with. But still, I feel like there's so many great tools, but there's always something missing or dodgy about them. I'm not sure how you feel about that, Matthias. I've heard you talk about the app on the mobile phone and GPS as well when you're out scouting for skog and all the other stuff you do.
Yeah, but that's for 2 reasons, because I just like to have 2 zoom levels.
Okay. Yeah.
When I'm riding, so I have one map zoomed out and one zoomed in, and then it's redundant as well. If you're leading a group or so, if you're a tour leader, then it's very important that you have redundancy as well. So there are many reasons, but as you say, I have used some different routing tools that could help me on the road. A little bit like Stegra, I think it's very similar. So it's very, very great to quick change route because you see very clear where you have the gravel roads. And for the matter as well, when I use the Garmin device and the topo maps on that, I have a typed map, so it also highlights gravel roads and tone down the paved roads. So I already have a similar function there, and I think this is really awesome. But to very quick plan on the road or very convenient plan gravel roads in this way, yeah, I have tried the beta version. You could say that. I think Robin and Thomas has as well. So it's a very convenient tool to use if you're searching for gravel roads. And as you say, or maybe get into a little bit later.
Let's look at that soon. So let the guys continue a bit where it started to grow on you, and you had in your team sort of it. Take it from there. You have the means to do something, and you came with the idea.
Yeah, so obviously we wanted to be able to plan our routes and have a really great time while doing it. And we didn't feel that we had a great time planning our routes before. So that was personally, I've always looked for something that I can do on my personal time as a passion and really find something that connects both programming, which is one of my biggest hobbies, and now this new love for riding ADV. And just combining them together and doing that with passion really kept me going, because we've spent quite a few hours on this on our personal time, right? So, every evening possible, basically. I have kids and a family and things like that. So obviously I need to keep that balanced, which is very hard. And I thank my family very much for keeping me busy, that I can be busy and work on this. But yeah, basically we wanted to have a good time planning, and with our experience, we have quite many years of experience in the business, in the building startups and things like that for others, basically. And now we thought that this is a passion for friends who really loves riding, and with the competence needed in order to achieve what we think is good. And what we also need the community to help us with, finding the way on how to progress on this going forward.
Yeah. Cool. So, and we're here obviously because we have something to show. But before we do that, what is it? Because the reason you set out to do this product is because you thought there was no product out there that could do what you wanted it to do. So, what are the main things that you were lacking that Stegra will now be able to provide to the users?
It's a great question.
Yeah. So I think what Alex pointed out earlier, we needed to sit with many different tools in order to get a good understanding of, where are the gravel roads to begin with. So that was the first thing that we tried to tackle. Make sure that we can plan our routes in a good way, not necessarily, prioritizing unpaved roads or whatever in the route engine, because that is a quite complex engineering task to do. And that is probably why many other competitors are using services that they pay off the shelf basically to get a route engine behind the scenes, and that those providers usually have the unpaved option that you mentioned, Robert, right? So they are aware of unpaved, and but they don't have any cost models or algorithms that actually focuses on planning on those route modes. And that was another idea that we got along the way, that wouldn't it be nice to just have a few waypoints and have 60% gravel, and with that 150 or 1,500 kilometers of gravel with just a few clicks basically. So that is what we foresaw. That was our dream. Like that is what we want to achieve basically. And also for those who want to be, plan their route exactly the way they want to. They can see where the gravel roads are, they can see where the tracks are, and they can go and plan that the way they want to and spend, hours in the tool. But they have everything they need in the tool in order to achieve that. So.
Yeah. And also just to add the barriers. That was a big problem for us, when you do a route and you go out and ride and you come to a barrier. We're like,
or 10.
Or 10, yeah. So,
like the gates that the road owners put up.
That's safe. You can pass by here, but so that is something that we have also in our
in our product, which we will show you. And then the geographical data is very, very hard. I mean, it's data inconsistency and so on. There's a lot of maybe fancy IT words here. I don't know, but it's quite complex basically, and it's not very up to date always. We have different sources in Sweden, like NVDB, which provides us with slitlager or unpaved roads and so on on the Swedish network, and then we have OSM, the OpenStreetMaps, which is the global software that actually powers our which is the data that we provide into the route engine, which gives us the opportunity to plan the routes in a good way. And the data inconsistency between different markets and OpenStreetMaps, it's quite large. It's getting better all the time, but you always have, it's a never ending, it's always it's a living thing, right? The road networks, new cities are arising, new road networks are being introduced, and it takes some time before mappers in OpenStreetMaps map it out and things like that. So that is also a big challenge, and especially for us ADV riders, I think one of the biggest parts that we have planned for, the future here in a couple of weeks and months, as we continue to evolve the product, is to introduce feedback coming directly from users. So if you find an obstacle in Sweden, for example, we don't have data from the government or the communities telling us whether the private road has a
sign.
Yeah, if it's a private road, basically, there's no regulation telling private road owners to provide that information back to the state or to Trafikverket in Sweden or the equals in other markets. So that is where we think we can actually make good use of the community to easily be able to provide that information back to the system and give everyone that information.
So some real-time data from other adventurers within the app then?
Yeah.
Exactly, and it's globally distributed to everyone to consume within their own routes and public routes and things like that. That they play around
it's
with
amazing how that things
awesome.
works. Kind of as soon as you start building a community around this and people start giving feedback, it's just crazy how everything just spread like a forest fire.
Cool. So I think the viewers are really eager to see, because you've been working on this now for some time, and there is a working beta. I know because I did my ride today using Stegra.
Did it work out?
So I can tell you it's working. So I think it's time to actually. What do you think? Should we jump in and you can present what you've built and how it works?
Definitely.
Yeah, I'll put on the share screen.
Right, so your screen is shared now, boys. So go ahead and show us around.
What is it, actually, in small words? What
the hell
What
is
are
it?
you guys doing to kind of sum it down to one sentence?
It's an ADV route planning tool or service.
Yeah.
Perfect elevator pitch.
Yeah, and show us what you guys been working on the couple of years.
Yeah, it's only 1 year, but hopefully it will become multiple years. So this is just the home screen. We haven't worked too much on this for now. Obviously, when we have the public beta available for all of you guys, we will try to introduce it to the beta, what we expect and what the roadmap will look like from that point on. Right now, we just have this welcome to the beta screen. And I think diving into the studio, which is the route planning tool, we call it the studio, is probably where we will spend most of our time. So I'll go right ahead and just jump into that.
Absolutely.
And what happens is that I get a full planning tool available at my full desktop screen here. So I have a lot of space to play around with. Similar to other tools, so nothing really fancy here. Maybe we have some better styling if you ask me, but yeah, it's like any other route planning tool at initially when you look at it. We have, if we look at the top here, we have the layers, the map layers. So in the beta, we will come with OpenStreetMaps. We'll come with Lantmäteriet, which is a Swedish topology map, and we will come with satellite and satellite high quality. We want some feedback based on, we have satellite and satellite high quality. Obviously, we should probably just have one. So we might revisit that one, but that's what we have currently.
I just want to say one thing about that. It's just absolutely brilliant that you keyed out the shortcuts on the keyboard for all the different things, kind of like mapping. I do a lot of editing on video and kind of have the muscle memory to switch between all the settings. It's just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, we can actually show that out. I completely forgot about it. But yeah, we have keyboard shortcuts, so you can easily, even if you don't have this map layer settings open, you can quickly type W, for example, to get Lantmäteriet's maps, and you can just press on the Q key to get back to OpenStreetMaps. And yeah, we have keyboard shortcuts for both the route modes, the route planning modes, as well as the map layer settings, and undo and redo and things like that. And we can show you that, but I think you will manage to figure all of those things out by playing around with the tool once we have it available for you. But also, if I have this map layer setting open, and if I click on W, for example, on my keyboard, you can see that it's updating. And if I go to E, it will give me satellite. And if I press R, I will get to satellite high quality. So it's very easy to swap between them just by pressing the keys on the keyboard. And that was great feedback from Robert, actually, that he provided early on. So thank you for that. Yeah. We all make good use of it ourselves now. Yeah. So yeah, and what we have besides the base layers like OpenStreetMaps and Lantmäteriet, satellite, and so on, is the overlays. So, and this is what others don't provide within the route planning tool. I guess there are a few players out there that provide some of this information, but not all.
Can you zoom in?
Yeah, I can definitely zoom in. So I can just deselect them for now, so we can have a good look at what it looks like. And I think we can do it with the OpenStreetMaps because it becomes a bit more visible. So if I zoom in, I'm just gonna figure out where I'm at right now. So we're in Russia. No, it's Finland. Sorry. I saw some Russian stuff over here, I think. And perhaps we should go to Sweden because that is also good to mention. So in the beta, we will only go live with the overlays for Sweden. So all the paved and unpaved overlays will only be visible in Sweden, but we're working on making it available in all Nordic countries. And obviously, we have plans to introduce this tool in globally. That's the long-term plan.
Really cool.
But we're focusing now on the Nordics. So just for visibility, I will click now and not use the shortcuts. So if I go and press on road surface, for example, I can see down here that what will be shown to me now is paved in red and gravel in blue. So if I click on this, the map will be zoomed into the layer or to the zoom level where the overlay is shown.
It's insane.
So what you see here now, so what you see here now is paved roads in red and unpaved roads in blue, basically. So as you might know, if you're from Sweden or if you usually come here to ride, there's a lot of gravel roads here.
Yeah, Jimmy, since you're using a huge screen and you see everything quite zoomed, it's big for you, but in the video, in the stream, it's very zoomed out. So if you could zoom in and work in a more zoomed in way there, that way the video will see it better.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Definitely. Better now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so basically all the blue lines here are gravel, which is really, really nice to know as an ADV route planner, right? We want to go on those gravel roads. So now we have it easily available in the tool. And we have, I'll just go to my current location right now to jump to where I'm at currently. So I can click on this current location icon that we have up here, or button that we have up here to get there. And as you can see, the
okay, 2
the
seconds.
layers, overlays, and everything.
But just continue. Just continue.
I need to cool down a bit. I think I'm not used to this live streaming part. So thank you very much for helping me out. Try to be a bit more slow when I show this. But now you can see where I'm at. You see the blue little icon here on the map. That's where we are right now. And if I want to start planning, so this is where we're starting out from. I could use any route engine behind the scenes in order to start planning on gravel roads, perhaps. But with our different modes that we have here, we will make it even easier for ADV riders. So our biggest kind of feature that we have initially, besides the overlays and high quality satellite and so on, which others might have, we have a handcrafted algorithm for finding the unpaved roads. So we call it adventure mode, and this will prioritize gravel for you as you put input your waypoints basically into the map. So we can show that off a bit here.
Before we go any further, can we just see the layers with the barriers and
yeah, sorry, I forgot about that. Yeah, so
maintenance.
Yeah, so we only went through the road surface part. So the blue lines is gravel and the paved is red. We also have government maintenance contribution overlay, which means that any road that you see in green will be they will get some funding from the government to maintain that road basically. And with that, they are also agreeing to keep that open for the public to make good use of. All blue roads in Sweden are not available to everyone. You might have these, signs saying that we don't allow for motor traffic whatsoever and so on. But these green ones should be kept open to you. So if we click on this one, we will see that we start seeing these green lines.
It's a little bit hard to see,
that means I'll zoom in.
Yeah. Now I see something. Yeah, it's a sort of a green color on the gravel roads instead of the blue lines. They are sort of green instead. Yeah.
Exactly. So this is a really small unpaved road, which is not funded by the government, basically. And the green one here is, so they get the contributions from the government to keep it maintained and so on, which means they can't put up the forbidden signs for motorcycles and things like that. So this is really handy if you want to make sure you plan a long route in Sweden and you want to spend a week or two and you want to make sure that you ride on, you have your plan and you will be able to ride on that route if you keep to the government the roads that are maintained by the government, basically, with contribution.
Cool. Yeah, and I just want to add also that it shows in green, but you also have the identification on the. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah. So you have an identification ID on the road. That means that the road is maintained. Not maintained by the government, funded. Yeah. By the government. Yeah.
Exactly. So this is another indication. If it's hard with the colors and things like that, and some people have issues, colorblind or whatever, you can at least have some extra information for these sorts of roads with this numbered identifier.
Yeah. So they are gravel roads, but if they are green, oh, I can hear myself a little bit. But if they are green, you're you're quite sure that you can ride there.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
And then we have the last overlay for now, which is road barriers, and that includes a lot of different barriers, basically. Mostly in Sweden, we have these locked gates.
Yeah.
So if I enable this overlay, I will also now start seeing these little dots, which means, that there's a gate there, or it should be a gate there, because the landowner or the road owner provided that information back to the government. They are.
And you can see this quite a lot. If we zoom out a bit, we can see that there's quite a few gates.
Yeah.
Now they start to appear in the green up there, and that's a hassle, I think, when you plan and that I want to go from this place to that place using these gravel roads, but there's always these gates, and it's only possible to find them by looking
on satellite image
at the Lantmäteriet map, but you have to find them visually. But in here you have them, so the planning tools knows about them, and that's the amazing thing here.
It's also different colors on them depending on what type of gate I saw.
Yeah. And usually in Sweden, what you will see is the locked gate or barrier. That is 98% basically of all the barriers that we get from the existing data.
And it's allowed to say that this is...
Looks like someone making good money on gates.
Yeah, you should come to Norway.
Sure. I think it's over 500,000. 500,000 gates are in the records, basically. So someone is making really good money.
But this is kind of one of the most unique features of this route planning tool, is that you actually have the gates and visual barriers when you're planning. It's kind of for me, that is used to Basecamp and my route app. I use that a lot. This is just revolutionizing the whole trip planning stuff from at home. To be honest, it's really impressive.
Yeah. The best thing is that the tool seems to consider the gates as well.
Yeah. When we get to the route planning, that's when my hat flew off.
Yeah, and even if we have over 500,000 records in Sweden alone, and we have gates in Norway, Denmark, and Finland, and in all over the world mapped in OpenStreetMap as well, there might be some data issues, right? There was a gate there, but the owner of that road decided to get rid of it. But it's not on his first priority to report that back to the government, saying that, well, I don't have my gate there anymore. So that is what we want to evolve the product into as well, making sure that we get live feedback from each and every ADV rider using the tool out on the roads as well. So yeah, it's supposed to be a barrier here, but it's not. So I'll just provide that feedback directly into the system, and you can have others approving that or validating it, making sure that we get good data quality, and also maybe provide that back to OpenStreetMaps to give others software a better everyone basically in the world better data quality. So that is also close to our heart, trying to contribute with better data quality for everyone basically, but mainly for ADV riders to begin with. So that is in the plans as well. And start, having some discussions and comments on barriers, providing images and things like that, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it should be really, really easy to report a barrier or something. It should be like 2 clicks away.
Yeah.
To provide and contribute with the data.
Perfect.
Yeah. Cool. So now when we have all of the overlays in place, and I'll choose OpenStreetMaps again, because Lantmäteriet only works in Sweden. So OpenStreetMaps gives us the whole world. So I close this down now, and we can start look at the different modes that we have. I will just quickly go through them. I think the main interesting route modes for everyone is bird mode and mainly adventure, but we also have tarmac and highway. Mainly because sometimes you just want to get somewhere, right? I've been riding all of the gravel roads in my area, so I don't care too much about, having the route engine prioritizing that. I just want to get on the highway up to Oslo, and from Oslo on, I will, from there on, I want to be able, I want to prioritize adventure riding and gravel roads and so on. So I'll start up with adventure. And there are some information here, and we want to give as much information as possible to the users. And I think that is something we missed out talking about, but we want to make this super simple. I think that is one of our, that is the hardest task with route planning, because it's quite complex in its nature, but we want to make it as easy as possible so anyone can create a route. So we try to give as much information as we can. And please, when you try this out yourself and you have any feedback, please provide that back to us. We will listen to every comment we get on the product, and we will reach back to you with our thoughts. And we will maybe have some time to talk about how we want to do that openly, because we want to get all feedback open and be completely transparent with the backlog and everything, so everyone can upvote different features and so on. But yeah, let's get to the adventure stuff. I know that everyone is probably
just a little side note. I get a
yes.
lot of comments on the chat live on the stream, and some questions are if there is any possibility to support the work you do on the way. Do you have something for that? Do you have a Patreon? Do you have a Buy Me a Coffee? Do you have anything to for people to provide support to the work you do or the hours you put in this?
Oh, that's so wonderful to hear, and thank you all. Yeah, amazing. Thank you very much for reaching out and asking that question. And Yeah, we have thought a lot about it, but I mean, the hope is for us to be able to spend, you know, every waking hour on this in the professional time, so to speak, in the future. And I think we're trying to figure things out. And I think in the beta, we would like to get everyone's feedback on how they would like to be able to support us, so that we can start working on it. This is what we have achieved in 1 year with, you know, on our spare time, and a lot of spare time, obviously. And it's not sustainable for us to do that with families and everything. We really need to start getting some money in to pay for infrastructure and to be able to work more hours on this, basically. So we will keep you posted on that. And thank you very much for reaching out. But we want to keep that transparent
that is nice to
as
hear.
well.
Really good.
So yeah. So let's get to it. I will zoom out a bit now, because this is where the fun happens. So usually what we do when we have, you know, multiple maps and so open, we try to figure out where the gravel roads are and so on. But with adventure mode, you can do that, obviously, and many will, because you want to handcraft your own route. But if you just want to, you know, plan, let's say 150 or 1,500 kilometers of gravel, you can also do that with our tool. So I'll zoom out a bit here. And let's say we want to go to Helsinki, and we want to take the long route to Helsinki in Finland. And I'll just start with my current location.
Yeah.
And then let's say that I want to ride in Dalarna in Sweden. So I'll set my next waypoint there. And right up here, you will see directly that we have 653 kilometers, and currently the route mode, adventure mode, gives you 22% unpaved. And the duration of the current route is 11 hours and 25 minutes.
That's a good day.
So, well, yeah, that's a good day.
Yeah, that's a good
day. Maybe 2 days for some.
Yeah.
So that's a good day. So you get 22%. And if you want to get even more, so yeah, we want to start out, you know, doing hardcore gravel, more than 22% at least. You see, when you hover the mouse over the polyline here, or the segment, you get this icon, which means that, well, if I click here, I will introduce another waypoint. And the reason why it only gives us 22%, because we have spent a lot of time in the algorithm for planning to get you somewhere. If we would just go with gravel all the time, it wouldn't be 11 hours here to get up to Dalarna. It would have been way more than that, I can tell you. And it would be a bit more tricky. But we're looking into having, you know, some sort of slider and so on, so you can choose yourself exactly how much gravel you want to prioritize for you. But as I said, we also want to keep it simple. So if you want more gravel on this segment alone, these 653 kilometers, you can just click here. And there you go. Now you have 31% instead, then you have an additional hour added to your duration. So I just clicked on the segment to introduce two ones. And the distance in between the two waypoints is how you can concentrate. If you have lower distance in between them, we will focus on more gravel on the segments, basically.
Yeah, so we take time in consideration to continuously going forward, but otherwise you would like take, yeah, this segment or this route shouldn't be 12 hours. It could
2
be
days.
Like, or 3 or 4 days, because if you're going like 90% gravel, it will go like this all the way up.
Yeah, exactly. We try to keep that balance, and it's really hard, and we need your feedback also to see where we're going. But I think everyone will be quite happy with the end result here. And also now when I've introduced 3 waypoints, I can also click on the first waypoint here to see that segment. So this segment, I can see the details. I see that the distance is from 1 to 2 is almost 400 kilometers, and the percentage on this segment alone is 90% unpaved, and the duration is 5 hours. I can also see if okay, let's skip this. We have been riding here a lot, so let's go with just tarmac, some nice smaller paved roads. I can click on the tarmac mode for this segment only, not for this segment up to the third one. I can just choose to go with tarmac, and I'll see how that changes. So now I get 0% unpaved surfaces on the roads, and I save like almost an hour if I do that. So, and if I don't care too much about this at all, I just want to get up to Dalarna and Värmland, I can go highway, and I'll get down to 3 hours and 23 minutes instead. So, and that is only for.
But if you want to go to the left side of the lake, just easy to. I don't want to go in between the lakes, but I want to go on closer to the Norwegian border.
Yeah. And I think you should, because it's a lot of really nice unpaved roads there. I just drag and drop my second waypoint close to the Norwegian border, and it recalculates. And now we see we have 49% unpaved instead for the complete route. And I can check on this particular segment from 1 to 2. It's now 40% instead of 19 when I did that. And I can even go into, so we get some Norwegian gravel roads here as well. Now it's, you have a lot of money in Norway. And with that money, you stick to be, making sure you have paved roads. But yeah, we get.
If there's ever a Nobel Prize for route planning, I think you are up for grabs.
Thank you.
Cool. So now, okay, I wasn't happy with that. I will skip Norway for now. Sorry, Thomas. So I'll just click on this undo button, and I will get back to that beautiful 49% instead.
Yeah.
And I'll keep my way to go to Helsinki. And now I'm not really sure where to go here. I'm just going to click on Helsinki and see what that leads to with the percentage and everything. Sorry, I didn't click on Helsinki. So now we have like 15% of unpaved. It's still a good amount of time that we will spend there, but it's a bit too, it's not enough gravel, right? So this is where I can, just put where I want to end up, and then start adapting a few things here to get more gravel. So I can start just adding a waypoint here, for example, see what happens. Okay, now it gives me 42%, but it seems to be a bit weird here. So I'll just move that one. And I'll just add a few waypoints here to see what happens. And I want to go close to the Russian border to be, I'm a daredevil, basically.
The long way to a small coffee in Helsinki.
Yeah. This seems to be quite nice. So we're touching upon the Russian border a bit, and then let's get to safety. So let's get into.
I just want to say there's coming in a lot of messages on chat, and they're blown away. It's amazing. So it's kind of for myself as well. It's just nice I'm blown away.
I mean, this is the moment we have been waiting for.
Yeah.
We knew that we had something, that we have made something that we thought would be really nice for everyone. But this is the dream. This is showing this to everyone. And making it available to you is what we're talking about every day. So, and thank you guys for having us. We're so eager. We will talk more about when this will become available for you to play around with soon.
Yeah, it's our pleasure.
So now we have. Thank you. So now if we look at the kilometers, we have around 3,700 almost kilometers planned. We have 49% unpaved in that. And the duration is 3 days and 12 hours. And as all ADV riders know, that time is not 49% on gravel. It's probably 95% on gravel if we look at the complete time, right? Yeah. On the paved roads, we get up to speed, and we just speed, right? Have good speed there. But so even if it's only 49% and that is 150 kilometers or 1,500 kilometers of unpaved roads, you spend way more time on
but
those
that is important to
just
say.
To be clear here, I think it's great to have this percentage shown. And just to be clear, because I tried out the tool before, if you tighten up these waypoints way more than you have done here, you get even more gravel. So you can easily easily change.
But there's one thing that is really important to say here. That is, all the routing here is without any barriers. This is completely free to go all the way. There will no boom or barriers or anything, because you put that into the planning. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, there are some caveats. As I said, the data quality is not always perfect, obviously. And what we currently are showing you is the overlay coming from NVDB, which is a group of different parts of state companies, basically in Sweden, coming together to provide as good data as possible. But is very, the data quality is not 100%. It's probably around 80%. So that's good to know. And also, our route engine is currently depending completely on OpenStreetMap's data. So not all the barriers you can see in the overlays is currently available to our route engine. But we're working on that, making sure that what you see is what you get. But to a bigger extent, you will get what you refer to, Hansen. But there are some caveats, and we want to be 100% transparent.
Yeah, that's good. That is really good.
Yeah. Can I?
Has the tool prioritized the green state-founded roads, or is it?
No, not currently. It's a mix. Yeah. So it's currently trying to find as much gravel as possible with time across different segments. That's why, Matthias, if you put them closer together, we will prioritize much more gravel for you. And that is the easiest way we found to get you as a non-techie into, controlling how much gravel you want, instead of keeping, sliders in each and every segment. Like, just slide it up, and then you forget about your configuration and things like that. So, but we don't currently have the opportunity to filter, like just put this on the state funded or the roads with the government contribution, basically. But that is something we can definitely do in the future, if that is what you want.
As always, when you're riding on these pre-made routes at home and so on, you have the detailed map with the topo map option you showed recently. When you're live on your route, so to speak, and you see some obstacles and other things like signs, and you can easily replan the route.
Yeah, exactly. And also to your point, sorry, Alex, just your point earlier, Thomas. I think everyone, even if you can plan the route in 5 minutes and you get 50% unpaved roads for a great distance trip, you should still, spend some time walking it through in better detail to see what it's all about. And I think one of the main things that we provided, that we added as functionality early on, is to quickly have Google Street View available. So if you right-click on one of the paved roads, because it's quite likely that Google has been there with their cars and taking pictures. Gravel roads.
You timed that right, because someone just now asked if it's possible to use Google Street View. So.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not sure if they've been here exactly, but let's see. So if I right-click and I click Show on Google Street View, I can quickly do a check, and
it's almost like have you when you first tried the ChatGPT, the AI-based chat thing, and it's just like write the whole script for a movie for me just in 2 seconds, and this is kind of like feeling like talking to AI. It's mind-blowing. It's hard for me. I've tried the beta, and I've tried in Norway, and of course, like you said initially, it's not optimized for Norway yet, but still the possibilities, the options available, it's hard to grasp, to be honest. So it's really impressive.
Thank you very much. I mean, that's amazing feedback, and I mean, this is what we really hoped for everyone. That this is the reaction we really hoped for, and we thought we would get. But you never know before you get out there, right? So thank you very much for sharing your,
Yeah.
your
It's
feelings
like
around
when I first tried it, I asked Robert, there's something wrong here. I can't make this work. It's kind of like, because I was so into base camp and my normally setup, I couldn't kind of figure out how to rethink how to plan your routes compared to how I initially did it on my old stuff. And when Robert put me through the kind of like the screen share of his planning, it was just like, holy hell, this opens a completely new window and world for route planning and making just new adventures on the go. It's really impressive, to be honest.
Yeah, we're trying. I mean, we don't want to bash on anyone, but we try to like be the iPhones of route planning, right? We want to make it more simple for people to do routes and go out there and experience great adventures. And you know, we need to sometimes, you know, just stop and check, like, we have, look at the distance and look how much quality time you have with the tool. And I mean, that is our goal, basically, to make sure humans like ourselves, who enjoys being out in the nature, riding our bikes, camping, can do that, and also make it very easy to plan that route.
Indeed, because I found it very so enjoyable to sit at home and make my sort of, if I want to spend time, I can do that. I can make a really detailed trip and work with the tool. But as mentioned, as I did today, I was in Falköping. We were going to the Mullsjö area of Kyrkekvarn, and we want to go there, but there's only boring road. So we brought up the beta and just clicked on Kyrkekvarn, and we've been riding there a lot, but we got on roads that we didn't ride before, and it was just easy to do one click and go also. So
and as we said, also, I mean, we haven't been riding ourselves for that long, but we're in love. We're really in love with this, obviously, building this tool. And hearing this from you guys who have been doing it for quite some time, that it works, and you find roads that you didn't know existed, or you haven't ridden on them before, that's just, you know, that's music to our ears.
And I think also that, I mean, there's a quite large number of riders out there. They don't think it's fun, or they don't know how to, and it's quite complicated to make their own routes. And what maps do I need, and what tools do I need, and it gets all techie. So if you can bring that to them, make some dots on the map and then go ride, then
it's
is it the
and what's so amazing is that I like to route plan. I can sit for hours and just plan a route. And I'm always underestimate the routes I'm making. When I see it on the map, I think like, I can take this route for like 4 or 5 hours, no problem. And it always end up going home. Not finished the route, so we have
in the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night.
But I have a personal questions about it, probably a little bit further down the line. But point of interest for me, that is an adventure rider. I'm not an enduro rider in any means. I'm really eager to see photographic or places I can put up my camera to do good video and all that kind of stuff, or even go to shelters, or go to places to fuel up or eat food. Do you have anything towards that planned, or is it just gravel?
No, we have that in our roadmap, point of interest, the app, so we had that in our roadmap.
Yeah, definitely. We have a lot of great ideas in the four of these heads, right? But I mean, we're starting to get somewhere. We need to get out and listen to the users. And that is one of the points where we decided to, well, we have a lot of good ideas based on what we hear you guys talking about last time around, I think, on the ADV show, or a few episodes back or whatever. How we can do that and making sure it becomes available to everyone. But we decided to just stop there. Let's release what we have now.
Yeah, I think
bring it to everyone, and then get the feedback in, getting the upvotes from the community, and making sure that we prioritize the right stuff. But we have some cool stuff that we can mention around point of interests, and point of interests are positive stuff and bad stuff. So barriers, for example, is also a point of interest, right? You want to know they exist, and you necessarily don't want to go there, but it's good to know they are there. So we think about a lot of gamification, making sure that people get out. So if you don't have something to do, you just want to go out ride, maybe you don't want to plan and spend a week out camping and so on. You just want to go out riding on good gravel roads. You can pitch in on the quality or the data that comes in from the rest of the community, validating different points of interest and so on, giving a thumbs up, stuff like that. So we have a lot of great ideas, and also it's a lot about route planning. But we foresee this becoming a community much bigger than just route planning going forward, and that's where point of interest really comes into be very central.
It's music for my ears. Thank you. It's great to hear.
Yeah, it's a lot of greetings in the comments here that you're doing a great job.
Yeah,
they are amazed. I just see here when I got the app live here in the beta app that all the routes you have done right now is just live available in this app as you are working with them. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's actually one question that I read in the comments here. Is this web only, or is it also an app?
Yeah, so currently it's only web. That's what we're focusing on because the first problem we had was, planning, and we would like to do that together with a beer and have a great, big, nice screen. So that was our first task, to just get the best kind of experience to plan the routes. And then when you're out, you can actually spend time riding that route, right? But we have a backlog filled with features for an app. To navigate in the app using turn-by-turn navigation, for example, on these gravel roads, if you like that, or just go with, follow the track the way you usually do with GPX files, and so on. But yeah, there's an app coming for sure. But right now it's only web.
I have this tablet on my bike with maps and things that I use when writing the GPX files, and since it's an Android, I open the web browser, so I can actually plan using your Stegra software on my tablet and then save the GPX and so on. So it's mobile in that way, but it's not a native app. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Robert, for pointing that out. That was exactly our reasoning as well. I mean, there are already great, apps for, to use with your GPX files, right? So we don't really want to get in competing in that area as of now. As we want to make what produces those GPX files much better. So that's what we did. And I mean, we ride our routes all the time in order to make sure it works and stuff like that. And we use other really nice products like DMD2, for example. I know you use that as well. I do use that on my Android, and works perfectly and so on. But obviously, being driving into being a community, having comments and providing live feedback with point of interest and things like that, we need to have that mobile app as well to make that convenient for sure.
We got a question here as well. If you could a system for users to rate others' routes or different sections here, and I just answered because I have tried the beta that you could both like and comment others' planned routes.
You're here already. there's you will drown in requests and suggestions.
I see that, but it's really cool to there are some options as well, and this is a beta, but
the Pandora box is open.
I had the question here, so but I just forgot it. Sorry.
But I have a little questions to you guys, because I've just been aware of a new company here in Norway called Aware Moto. They're making kind of like technical stuff for the bike that you can plug into the bike to make read off the tire pressure, all the information from the bike, like a tracker and GPX saver and everything. And these are kind of like the space shuttle people, 2 people from Norway who does this. And you guys really need to talk with them, because I feel like there are so many great options here from what you do to compare to what they do. You should kind of like build in the community together to I see on the comments here, we got a lot of people from Norway suggesting we have a lot of paid toll booths in Norway. Some of the roads you need to pay, and you need to pay in afterwards within 48 hours. And there's so much valuable information that we can help you gather into you and your algorithms. So kind of building the community, make it an easy forum or a Facebook page where people can connect and give you great feedback. But you should be aware, since you open the Pandora box, you will be sitting a lot of time in front of the computer answering questions, because you're gonna be loaded with questions about this.
Yeah, and we will love every minute of it. So
Absolutely.
So we just route them towards your Facebook page then, and just contact you personally. Yeah.
Not sure if we have covered this, but we are talking about the beta version here, and we're also talking about a release party. Mm-hmm. So when are you releasing the beta?
We say it.
I don't know.
Yeah, of course. We go. We're planning, if everything goes right, we plan to release it Friday the 12th of May.
Yeah.
So in about 2 weeks, we will release the beta. And that's
nice.
A cheer for that one, I guess.
Cheers.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Just make sure that goes live.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Okay, the 12th of May.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's our plan.
So
I think
we've seen this. We've seen the route planner, and it's you got a lot of good reactions. You have to, after this, when we publish this video, it actually takes 2 days or something before the live chat is available. But when you read that, you will have a really nice feeling. But except from the route planner that we've watched now, you also have a route section. What's the ideas and functionality in that section?
Yeah, so please fill in if I've been talking a lot, so I don't want to take too much space here. So
I can go through that. I mean, for me, I'm not into planning routes in detail. I just want to find somebody else's planned route and ride it and try it out. So we have a route page where you can explore other people's routes and see them more in detail, follow them. On the route page itself, you can actually post images, text, or have a conversation with other people riding that route.
That is brilliant.
So here is a list. It's filtered on your position, so you will get the closest ones to you.
Oh.
And that I can say that is based on, anywhere in the route. So if you live somewhere, you can see where I'm pointing, obviously. But if you live somewhere close to the route, you will, it will be based on that particular point rather than, any waypoint or whatnot.
Yeah, really cool.
Ah, cool.
That's great.
Yeah, and we have some private routes. So if you create one and you want to keep it private, you can do that. You can have your friends join if you want to just approve them. But yeah, that's the point, to be able to explore other people's routes as well.
Yeah.
And so if you click on one,
If you take one that we actually, this is very much under these are the last parts that we're refining as of currently. So there might be some glitches here and there. And I also want to point out one very important thing here. So what we see with this big, TET and TST and similar routes is that we get a lot of high traffic on those routes, right? Yeah. And that is problematic in private road owners and so on feel like there's too much traffic right there. And so what we want with this, spreading, having public routes and having a great tool to plan in, is to spread that load on the gravel road network to make sure that we don't overuse particular routes, basically. So we can, keep these roads open and continue to enjoy them. So that is one really big part on all this. Sorry, please continue.
Amen.
Amen. So should we go into a certain one, or
do we have one with comments that we don't? Yes, that we dare to show.
To show in our testing.
Testing comments is always dangerous.
I think I have one to Grästorp, Partille Grästorp, where maybe not.
I made one that Robert has.
But is it a good route to show?
Oh, the route isn't good, but we have some images uploaded and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, so you can upload.
So let's focus on that.
Upload your own imagery to the route that you're taking. So if I go to a wild camping site, I can take a picture of it and show it off in the route and with the exact GPX coordinates.
Yeah. So now I just need to request to join this one because Josip decided to keep that one private. So I just click on request, and now he will see me in his approval list. And once he has given me access, I should be able to go into this route to the details page. And right now, this is very much under, this is just, not real data, basically. Yeah. So please don't focus on this area. But yeah, we have a nice route and an image on that route. It's actually 2 images, so you can, click through, and I can provide some comment. Nice. Need to ride this one.
This is so cool and powerful.
And I click enter, and I'm signed in as Alex.
Thank you, Thomas.
This is fucking brilliant. I just love it. It's just every step you take to me through this is just like, and I've tested beta, and still it's just like blows my mind to with all the information you gives me. I'm really impressed. There's nothing else to say. This is amazing.
Thank you very much. I'm not sure how this shows now in the sharing, but if you look at the mobile view, let's not try to resize the windows here because it's probably confusing. So now I'm back in full screen. You can still see it. Well,
it works fine in mobile. So if you're using mobile, it should be fine there as well, similar to an app.
Yeah. And all of these community functions will obviously be introduced in the app as well. But right now you can still share it with the QR code. So if you have friends and you're riding one of these rides, you will get the QR code. You're there in the forest, right? And they can just scan on their phones, and they will get to this route, and they can create an account because that's needed. And then they can request to join that route, and they will be able to download the GPX file and everything from this particular page.
And you can both export files, and you could also import GPX files.
Yes.
Yeah, for that is a good question, because I have a huge collection of in Basecamp, Garmin Basecamp. I have a huge library of waypoints and routes and on gravel or whatever, and tracks and whatever. Yeah. Is it possible for me to take all that library over to this route planner and save it in my private collection?
Yeah, that is the goal. And obviously that requires some infrastructure on our side, and that costs us quite some cash, right? So that's where we need, in order to allow for everyone we need to set up some limits and things like that. And you need to pay and so on to get to a certain level of how many routes you can upload and things. Yeah, we're trying to figure that out, and I think the feedback from the community is super important for us there. But definitely, we want to have all of your existing stuff available in this platform, and pick and choose the ones that you want to make available for everyone to share. Sharing is caring and all of that, right?
It's perfect to share a route that you already have been ridden before, but it's really powerful, and then you can comment on it to yourself and so on. Highlights.
Exactly. So absolutely, and we have so many different ideas in our heads, as I said, like with ride joining and things like that in the app later, and you can follow friends similar to what you can do in modern Garmin devices, but much better using our tools. So we have a lot of ideas, but again, the community has to decide. We are 4 guys with limited time, and hopefully some more time at some point quite soon.
Yeah, but you've accomplished a lot with that team already, so I have no doubt you can manage. So the open beta will be released on 12th of May if everything goes well. So where can people sort of follow you to get sort of the message that beta is open, and where to go in and where to join and how to do that?
Yeah, we have our Facebook page, stegra.io. We have our Instagram page, stegra.io. We have our homepage, stegra.io. We have our YouTube page, stegra.io. And we have our Twitter, stegra.io. So stegra.io everywhere. So go to our homepage, stegra.io. We will provide information there. And you also have the links for our social media accounts also. And we will try to be out there in the forums, in the communities, to keep you guys updated. We're hoping to get, when we release the beta, we're looking into how we're going to take all this feedback in. We're going to have a feedback application running in Stegra.io, so you can provide feedback directly in the application. But we're also going to have our Facebook page or group open, maybe a Discord channel, if that's something that people likes. So we're going to be out there and open to receive feedback.
And it needs to be a two-way communication, right? It can't only be us getting feedback in and then not communicating. I think the communities need to get in there also and discuss in between each other, right? To come up with great ideas and then help us out prioritizing great stuff for all of us, right?
So get in there and
and I have a brilliant idea. When we get to the certain point, the beta has been released, a lot of data has come in. We do a new episode with you guys where we talk and sit back and talk about all the positive feedbacks and whatever is necessary for you to kind of get to the next step, or what can we do to, because this is so brilliant. We need to kind of share this to all our viewers in kind of like our private channels as well.
Yeah, it seems to be a starved market. Maybe looking at the chat, it's people are very excited to try this out. So it seems like you've sort of found something that people were really, despite of all the apps and navigation route planning tools out there, people are excited about this. So you truly found something there. So I think that's good. And of course, as I told you guys before before this stream, we're not saying this for free. We want our stickers.
How about a t-shirt? T-shirt. I don't care about stickers. I want a t-shirt.
So we're trying a few things out. So we have this hoodie and we have some t-shirts, and obviously we want
thank you.
And,
I mean, we have to live too, you know.
I think for the community as well, if you provide us with, great feedback and you're being a good, member of the community, we want to make sure that we send some of these stuff out to everyone, basically.
Super. So it's becoming one of the longest episodes, and I don't think we should make this a 2-hour thing. So I think that this is a perfect tease for everyone, and you certainly got their attention. And we'll just keep an eye on your social media and everything, and and it will be out there, and this will start rolling, and we're just excited. I guess.
Very good to hear.
Yeah.
And also see you out on the gravel roads in summer. So we will obviously be out with the Stegra shirts and so on. If you see us out there, please stop by, wave, and we can have a chat and talk about your experiences, obviously with the beta, but also as a route planner and ADV rider. So we really want to be joining the community, and be out there with all of you.
Yeah, and this is without a doubt something I want personally to make some video about. So we need to sit together and talk and make something really cool for YouTube. For this is brilliant.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, awesome, guys. Really awesome. This is the future, as they are saying in the chat here.
It is. Thank you.
So you just
let's end this with the latest chat. This is rolling like a big arse of snowball, but in a good way. So, and
that's a good one.
And just you guys just stick to just stick with us. We will talk to you a little bit after we go end the stream. But I just want to thank you all for tuning in to us today and asking all the questions. We try to provide you with as much information as we can. If the Stegra guys can't reach you, or you can't reach them, and just reach out to us, and we try to answer you the best we can.
Yeah, we will put up links.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Thanks for tonight, guys. Thanks everyone.
Thank you for having us.
Our pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And cheers for Volvo.
Cheers.
It's a holiday today.
I'll take two.
Cheers.
Go out and make a fire.
I got fire in my sleeping bag.
All right.
Not again.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.